Hello and welcome to Something Wicked. My name is Baz and today I'm going to be making this horrible little thing. Its name is Pazuzu, a demon once feared across the ancient world of Assyria and Babylon. He was the king of the southwest wind, the bringer of famine and plague. But he was also a protector. Pregnant women would wear pendants of him to ward off another demon called Lamashtu, the devourer of the unborn. Now, because of statues like this, we know what these demons look like, but their stories have long been lost to the dust. So for this episode, I've written a new story, set in the dying days of the Assyrian Empire. Now, just a heads up, this is a horror story with references to famine, infant death, and sexual violence. So only proceed if you want to go to hell. Her name was Nineveh, but everyone called her Amtia. Most days she helped her mother grinding barley on the stone quern, or carrying water from the well to their small mud brick house in a village 3 days' walk from the great city of Nineveh. She had been born 7 years ago, the same year the great king Ashurbanipal had died. In the 7 years since the great king's death, the irrigation ditches had filled with silt as the empire's hands grew weak. Now dust devils danced where water once ran. Amtia liked to draw circles in the dust, pretending they were wells for the village that would never run dry. But the wind would always find them, leaving no trace that she'd ever been there at all. One morning, a wind arose in the southwest and would not stop. It scraped at the mud brick walls until it found a way inside, throwing up dust, turning day the colour of bone. When the winds finally relented, the locusts came. They covered everything. For 7 days and nights, the sound of their feeding filled the air. When at last the insect clouds lifted, nothing green remained. In the weeks that followed, Amtia's mother refused to eat. She insisted that their grain go to the children in porridge that grew thinner as the weeks passed by. Death stalked them. Her mother's breasts grew dry. They prayed to Shamash, god of the sun, that her baby brother might live. But his mouth grew weak, and so did his cries. Both he and their mother passed quietly from the world, locked in each other's arms, the wind swallowing her father's lamentations. The elders said that the southwest wind was a demon once bound by sacrifice and prayer. But the words had been forgotten, the incantations seldom spoken, and the spirit had grown angry. In the years that followed, whenever the wind rose in the southwest, Amtia would spit and curse its name. Pazuzu, king of the evil wind demons, Lord of the southwest wind, bringer of famine and plague. So my story is set over 2,500 years ago, in the troubled years just before the fall of the Assyrian Empire. At this time, Assyria was already ancient. Its first city had been founded in 2025 BC. That city was called Assur. For more than 1,000 years, Assyria remained a regional power. Then in 911 BC, everything changed. Assyria started conquering new territory, and over the next 300 years it expanded exponentially. In 669 BC, Ashurbanipal came to power. From the vast new capital of Nineveh, he ruled an empire spanning 1.4 million square kilometres. To those beneath it, the empire looked eternal, a power that crushed resistance so cruelly and completely that it seemed pointless to resist at all. But all empires perish, and the structure was already beginning to fail. In 631 BC, after ruling for 38 years, Ashurbanipal died. He left behind a disputed throne, and for nearly 10 years the empire was torn apart by civil war. During that time, geological records also show an extended period of drought. Harvests failed. The demons of hunger and starvation would have stalked the land. Many families, like Amtia's, would have perished. And as the empire weakened from within, its enemies moved. The mighty city of Babylon rose in rebellion, tearing itself free from the Assyrian yoke. And from the Zagros mountains came the Medes, known to the Assyrians as the Manda, the horde from who knows where. The empire was bleeding, its people was starving, and the debt of 3 centuries of terror was about to be paid in full. 12 years had passed since Amtia's mother and brother had died. Last winter, her father had joined his son and wife in the house beneath the dust. Amtia was now 19 years old. She lived alone in her family's mud brick house, but the village, like its people, had grown thin. Sometimes travellers passed through heading north. Those who took water in the village told of war in the south. They said the city of Assur had fallen. Its temples burned, its god carried away by the Manda. In spring, word came that the Babylonians and Medes were marching north, heading for the capital of the empire, the nearby city of Nineveh. Many of the villagers fled, herding their emaciated animals before them. Others stayed, saying that their king would surely drive the invaders back. Amtia hoped that they were right. Like so many others, she had nowhere else to go. The first refugees appeared in early summer, a pitiful column heading north in the sweltering heat. They spoke of armies encamped beyond Nineveh's walls, of siege works choking the city. Later, in the sweltering summer month of Abu, a great column of smoke rose in the south. By dusk, the horizon glowed a deep, sullen red. Nineveh, the capital of the empire, had fallen. The first soldiers came soon afterwards, gaunt, dust-caked men, their armour dull, their eyes pitiless and hollow. Amtia didn't hear the soldier enter her father's house. She didn't see his shadow pass across the wall. Staring out of the thin windows of her home, she felt only his sudden, cruel weight upon her, as the light of her world withdrew. Nineveh wasn't just the capital of the Assyrian Empire. It was the greatest city on earth. At its height, more than 120,000 people lived within its walls. This was the cultural heart of Assyria, its palaces lined with finely carved reliefs, its libraries holding thousands of clay tablets containing all of the knowledge of the known world. As well as being a cultural hub, Nineveh was also a fortress. Its walls ran for 12 kilometres, rising 15 metres high. For generations, no enemy had taken it by force. In the spring of 612 BC, the Babylonians and the Medes arrived. For 3 months their armies laid siege to the city, but its walls were thick and the city refused to break. Finally, in the midsummer month of Abu, something changed. Later accounts say that the invaders dammed the Kosa River east of the city, and when the waters were finally released, they crashed into the city defences, causing the mud brick foundations to soften and dissolve. Through the gaps the armies poured, a tide of iron and fire that could not be stayed. The population of the city was enslaved or put to the sword. The palaces and temples looted and put to the torch. When the armies finally withdrew, they left a ruin so complete that later generations would struggle to believe it ever existed at all. Nineveh had fallen, and with it, the seemingly invincible empire of Assyria. So as you know, I put a lot of time and effort into researching these videos, and it's while I was researching the fall of the Assyrian Empire that Hungry Minds got in touch. They are the brilliant people behind the book, The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding Civilization. Like the Great Library of Nineveh, the book draws together the combined knowledge of the known world. It's a guide to the concepts and creations that humans have accrued over thousands of years. Medicine, mechanics, optics, cheese. It's the stuff that we often take for granted, but these are ideas that would have made you a god in the age of Ashurbanipal. And the book isn't just informative, it's also beautiful. Hand-drawn illustrations created by actual human beings adorn every page. Honestly, you can just tell how much love and effort has gone into creating this beautiful thing. So if you've got a thirst for knowledge and an appreciation of unique human creations, then check out this absolutely beautiful book by clicking the link below. Be sure to use the promo code SOMETHING at checkout to get an extra 10% off, and let's get back to the horror. When the 4 women found her, they took her for dead. A shadow slumped in a ditch beside the road. Some of the women said that she would surely die, but Beltia, the elder, refused to leave her to the dust. Together they lifted Amtia's thin, broken body onto their cart and drove east, heading for the edge of the dying empire. Amtia was silent during those 3 long months on the road. Her strength returned, but her moonblood stopped. By spring, her belly began to swell with the new life that grew there. The women found a small village and claimed an abandoned house. They set about mending its roof and sowing its field. Amtia smiled for the first time she could remember. But as the heat of the summer returned, sleep deserted her. She would often wake, slick with sweat, certain that something was watching her from the shadows. The women said they were only dreams, but Amtia swore she had seen eyes in the dark, unblinking, gleaming like bronze. As the day of the birth got closer, the night terrors got worse, and when the bleeding began, the women fetched the village Asu, an exorcist in a red gown with a skin bag of amulets and prayers. "This bleeding is the work of a demon called Lamashtu," he said. "She is the thief of children, the devourer of the unborn. I will burn cedar and juniper to attract kind gods, but we must summon another if we are to keep Lamashtu from your door." From his pouch, the exorcist drew a small bronze head, its face twisted in a snarl. "This is the demon king of the southwest wind. Give me silver and Pazuzu will keep Lamashtu at bay." The name lashed through her like the wind. Pazuzu, the demon whose famine and plague had feasted upon her family all those years before. Terrified, she struck the amulet from his hand. It skittered across the floor, ringing against the stone. The exorcist hissed, saying she had invited ruin on her unborn child, but Beltia rose between them and drove him from the house. As the door slammed shut, a sudden violence tore through Amtia's body. She fell to the floor, hands clutching her stomach. She heard the women rushing to her side, but their words came to her as if through water. The shadows of the room lengthened as the light began to recede, and somewhere between one ragged breath and the next, darkness fell. The ancient Assyrians believed that the world was shaped by gods, spirits and demons. Storms, plague, famine, death were all thought to be the work of unseen forces moving through the world around them. Among the most feared was Pazuzu, the king of the wind demons. He was the bringer of drought, pestilence and the scorching desert gale. His appearance was nightmarish, his face part canine, part lion, with horns and a snarling mouth. His body was that of an emaciated man. 4 feathered locust wings spread from his back, and a serpent rose from his loins. His hands and feet were deadly talons, and behind him curled a scorpion tail, always ready to strike. He was a creature assembled from death itself, and yet ancient people wore his image as amulets and hung his face inside their homes, because Pazuzu had a mortal enemy, Lamashtu, one of the most feared demons in Mesopotamian mythology. Lamashtu preyed upon the pregnant, drawn to them from the smell of childbirth and blood. Her appearance was monstrous, depicted with the head of a blooded lioness, clawed hands with snakes writhing in her fists. Some images show her nursing a pig and a dog while standing upon a donkey, twisted symbols of corruption and disorder. To protect themselves from her, people turned to Pazuzu, the one thing that could drive Lamashtu away. As night fell, the air died. Thick, stagnant, hot, as Amtia entered the agony of her labour. The fire struggled in the heavy, humid air, its smoke turning the room grey and bitter. Hours passed, each contraction more agonising than the last. Her eyes drifted in and out of focus. The women's voices faded into the void. She stared at the shadows just beyond the door and swore she could see eyes burning in the night. As another wave of pain washed over her, the darkness beyond the threshold appeared to writhe and unfold. She thought she saw a scaled talon cross into the guttering light, drawing the shadows behind it like great tattered wings. A lioness, walking on its hind legs, muzzle slick with old blood, long matted ears like a donkey's twitching and shivering in the hot, fetid air. As the creature drew closer, a terrible, crushing weight settled upon Amtia's chest. Looking down, she swore she could see a black piglet squealing and rooting on her left breast. On her right, a ragged dog suckling noisily, milk running pink about its prying maw. Amtia's body convulsed backwards, her nails scratching at the rough stone floor. Suddenly, her fingers struck something. The amulet. She grasped it, clenching so hard its features cut deep into her palm. Blood met bronze. The air shivered. In the distance, a sound. Soft at first, but growing until it rolled like thunder. Across the plain it came, galloping towards them. A wall of vengeful air that tore through the night and screamed through the door. In its path the fire flared brightly, and in the jagged light Amtia swore she saw the demon king himself, Pazuzu, lord of all wind demons, dragging the writhing shadows shrieking from the room. Morning found them. Cool air drifted through the doorway. Amtia lay wrapped in a thin blanket, her daughter pressed to her breast, suckling in small, steady pulls. Amtia held her tighter, closing her eyes as the rising sun painted the room in light. Beyond the foothills, the smoke of war still stained the bleak horizon. But for a moment, a brief, delicate moment, Amtia and the world were at peace. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Took bloody long enough, didn't it? Now, I want to say a big thank you to my supporters. One of you is going to be randomly selected to receive this horrible little thing. So, without further ado, let's find out who it's going to be. All that for what? Pazuzu is yours. Thank you so much for your support. Couldn't do it without you. Now, a big thank you also to all my patrons, of course. You guys are the absolute best and you make what I do possible. Now, if you've enjoyed this and you'd like to join this intrepid band of amazing human beings, head on over to Patreon. The links are in the description. Till the next time, stay wicked.